There's a major shakeup going on in our law enforcement agencies today. It's funny on the one hand, but serious on the other because it's really affecting law enforcement. This is the story about Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, who has told people he's considering resigning amid the Epstein files fallout. This has caused a huge drama inside the administration, and they're all attacking each other. And, we've always known that this administration would eat itself eventually, and it's doing so pretty quickly. I mean, what are we, 6 months into the first year? Three and a half more to go. Well, they're eating themselves now. And it's fun to see because they're MAGA and they are delusional and they're ignorant of how government works and they're authoritarian. And this is how authoritarian regimes work. There's always infighting, always infighting, always. People always eat their own in these types of regimes. And that's another sign that that's what this is, an authoritarian regime that demands loyalty to the president himself above loyalty to the country, above loyalty to its laws and to its constitution. That's what's causing all these problems. So basically, the bottom line on this story is you have a group of people who for years have said, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, we got to get to the bottom of Jeffrey Epstein. We got to see those files so we can indict all these Democrats, these evil, idiot Democrats who are eating children and not just dogs and cats. It doesn't stop at the pets with them. Literally, they were saying things like this for the last 10 years. QAnon brought this on in large part, and Trump picked it up, and his supporters picked it up. It became MAGA. This is MAGA. But when you're running for president, when you're running for office, and you spout out all these things that are just not based in reality and they're not true, you're literally digging your own eventual grave. Because once you come to power, if you should win, uh, you're going to have to act on these things. And if when you get into power, you find out, oh, that thing's not true, that didn't really happen, what are we going to do? Or if we release these files, I'm going to be in trouble. That's the bottom line here. Bongino, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, all these people who are out stoking this fire about Jeffrey Epstein, and we need to get to the bottom of it, and we need to find out who was on his client list because those are the evil people. They forgot to think about the fact that Trump was literally Epstein's closest pal, his best friend for 15 years. They were together all the time. Michael Wolff talks about this all the time now. And he'll tell you, and he was there with Jeffrey Epstein a lot too, because Epstein wanted him to write a book about himself, about Epstein. And so he was invited to hang out with Epstein and all these guys. He said Trump was always there. They were best friends. Anytime they were in Palm Beach together, they were together. Trump knew everything that's going on. Now, I know a lot of the MAGA people say, well, you can't trust Michael Wolff. He's just out to get Trump. But I'll tell you one thing after I've listened to him for a while. There's one thing he's never said about Trump. He's never said Trump did anything bad with underage girls. He said there were lots of girls always around, sometimes of questionable age, but he didn't see Trump walk off to go, be in private with any of them. So he's not even accusing Trump of doing things like that. What he's saying is Trump knew about all of it. Because how can you be a guy's best friend and he's doing that kind of thing and you don't know anything about it? But this has exploded in their faces. Really big news today. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino has told people he's considering resigning. It's so bad. The infighting has gotten so bad, he's literally considering resigning amid a major clash between the FBI and Justice Department over the continued fallout from the release of the Jeffrey Epstein memo. This comes after a heated confrontation with Attorney General Pam Bondi over the handling of the case earlier this week. I don't know if you remember this, but back in February, and the story, we'll talk about that in a minute. Back in February, she released some notebooks to MAGA friendly media people, new media people, And it was called the Jeffrey Epstein Files, Phase 1. Of course, insinuating that there would be a Phase 2 and maybe Phase 3 and 4. But it wasn't long after, literally within an hour or so, after they got these notebooks, that some of these people in the new Trump-loving media sat down, spent a few minutes looking through the pages, and found out there was nothing there. There was no there. And they started broadcasting, live streaming, saying that there's nothing here. We got to get to the bottom of this. So they started putting pressure on Bondi about why there was nothing there. And then suddenly she's like, oh, she came out at one point. She said something publicly about thinking maybe the FBI was hiding the information from her. When have you ever heard the FBI director fighting with the attorney general? These guys are supposed to be on the same team. But literally within a month of the administration taking office in February, they're fighting each other already. So no, I bet, honestly, I bet Bongino's going through hell. So now they're accusing him of leaking information to the press. First, they accused him of, or Bondi accused him of not releasing all the information. And then she started accusing him of leaking information to the press. So, oh, now the deputy FBI director is the big leaker. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's really insane. It's just ludicrous stuff. All right. Yeah, here we go. So the infighting over the case has come to a head on Wednesday at a meeting, which included Bongino, Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. Bongino and Patel were confronted about whether they were behind a story. Can you believe this? The FBI director and his deputy were confronted about whether they were behind a leak that said that the FBI wanted more information released but was ultimately stymied by the Department of Justice. And I mean, that sounds like it might be true, actually. And if it is, it's because Pam Bondi was notified by, I'm sure, possible, maybe most likely the president, who said, I want you to hold back on these files. Let's hold back on releasing them right now. Let's do that later. We can't do it right now. Not good timing. Not a good time. Wait till I'm out of office. Anyway, the episode comes as many of President Donald Trump's close advisors, both inside and outside the White House, have grown increasingly frustrated with Bondi's handling of the so-called Epstein files, following days of intense criticism from some of the president's most devoted supporters. So you have Bondi attacking the FBI director and his deputy, and now you have them attacking her. Multiple sources said that Bongino didn't come to work on Friday today, fueling speculation that he had quit over the issue. That's pretty big. One of these sources said that as of Friday afternoon, he had not left his position, so he hadn't changed his position on this. The whole thing has been a complete mess and no one's happy, a source briefed on the matter told CNN. So, yeah, this stuff is really crazy. So it goes into Jeffrey Epstein and who he was, which I'm sure everybody knows. And it talks about his death at the prison in Manhattan, downtown here. And it says during his 2024 campaign, Trump said that he would consider releasing additional government files on the case. Many of the president's supporters hoped that release would implicate other high profile figures or undercut the notion that Epstein killed himself. So they hoped it would implicate high profile figures. And what they meant by that was Bill Clinton, Adam Schiff, even Nancy Pelosi, whoever they could implicate on the Democratic side, who they were portraying as demonic, evil child eaters. The eating of living things didn't stop with animals in Ohio or pets in Ohio. It went all the way up to children, according to them. Literally, it did. And so they wanted that release. These people, they saw the pictures of Trump with Epstein. I mean, there was only two or three that I've seen so far. There seems to be only two or three out there. But that should be enough. He's partying, they're with women, and they're having a great time together. There's that video where Trump says, "Oh, Epstein's quite a great guy, but he likes the pretty ladies and some quite on the young side too." They should have picked up a clue. Trump's involved with this guy. If you go too deep into demanding the release of these files, it's going to implicate him. But geniuses, no, never thought about that. Never occurred to them. Trump's out, during the campaign saying, yeah, yeah, I think I'll release the files. He probably figured, look, I can say whatever I want now, and then I will get out of it later. And that's the way it goes in an authoritarian regime. But this authoritarian regime is led by delusional people. It's one of the big problems I've had with him all along, that he's not attached to reality. It's just whatever comes to his mind, he believes. And in fact, he's like a lie detector test in reverse. If it's untrue, he will instantly believe it. And if it's true, he will instantly disbelieve it. So you got your lie detector test in reverse there. Let's see here. FBI and justice officials had been at odds for months about the handling of the Epstein files review, but the tension spilled out publicly on Friday when far-right provocateur Lara Looney, who is close with people in the administration, wrote on social media that Bongino and Patel were livid with Bondi over the Epstein case. And they were probably livid over the fact that she originally accused them of withholding information. And they were probably livid over the fact that somebody on her side is accusing them of leaking to the press. I can understand them being mad about that. She wrote Bongino was taking the day off today from his job as deputy director, and there's now speculation on whether or not he'll return to the job. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche denied. Now here's where you can get to the truth. Just know everything this guy says, the opposite is true. So here's how we're going to find out there's true infighting going on and that it's really vicious. Because Todd Blanche, Deputy Attorney General, denied a rift between the Justice Department and the FBI leadership in a post on X Friday, saying that the suggestion by anyone that there was any daylight between the FBI and the DOJ leadership on this memo's composition and release is patently false. So change the word false to true there. And the suggestion by anyone that there is any daylight between the FBI and DOJ leadership on this memo's composition is patently true. And now you're a lot closer to the truth and knowing what's going on. White House Deputy Press Secretary Harrison Fields said Trump has assembled a highly qualified and experienced law and order team dedicated to protecting Americans, holding criminals accountable, and delivering justice to victims. I mean, you release 1,600 people from prison who tried to commit an insurrection. You pardon a murderer and a drug kingpin, and you're seriously still going to try to come out with a straight face and tell us that they're dedicated to holding criminals accountable? Come on, get serious. We're not stupid. Well, we're not that stupid. Anyway, this work is being carried out seamlessly with unity, Field said. Okay, again, everything he says, the opposite is true. This work is being carried out seamlessly and without unity. That means they are splitting apart at the seams and there's no unity at all. Any attempt to sow division within this team is baseless and distracts from the real progress being made in restoring public safety and pursuing justice for all. Okay, obviously, every bit of this is untrue. Any attempt to sow division within this team is not baseless. It is grounded in fact and reality. It does not distract from real progress being made in restoring public safety because there is no real progress being made. How much time? They're spending time doing all this fighting and drama with each other. That's taking them away from the work they're supposed to be doing. This is waste and fraud and abuse. These people should be fired. Where's Elon Musk? Let's get him back. He could take care of these people. Yeah, I know that's not going to happen, but think about this. I looked at this earlier. There's 115,000 people who work combined between the Justice Department and the FBI. Okay. If they spend 10 minutes today, get this, if they spend 10 minutes today talking about this or reading about this or focusing on this instead of doing their work, you know how much time that comes to? If every one of them spent an average of 10 minutes on this subject today while they're working, that would come to 19,000 hours of man time sucked up by this drama in one single day. That comes to about 6 years of 40-hour-a-week work for one person. 6 years. It's like hiring somebody, say, we'll hire you for 6 years, pay you a salary, give you benefits, and you don't have to do a darn thing till the 6 years expires. Oh, and tomorrow when they waste another 10 minutes on this, that'll be another 6 years. You can go 12 years. That's what's going on here, basically. Big waste of time. And you know what? These people, how much do you think they're focused on fighting crime right now? Seriously. This guy's like, oh, you're distracting from the real progress being made in fighting crime. You're distracting from it. This whole episode is distracting from it. Every minute Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and Dan Bongino spend on this, these are the heads of these departments, are minutes that they can't spend on the real work. It's big waste, fraud, and abuse committed here. And yeah, it looks like that's it. All right, so that's the story on that. And we keep pushing ahead, try to help people open their eyes and see what's really going on with this government. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.